Extraction star Chris Hemsworth, director Sam Hargrave, and writer Joe Russo joined IGN for our latest installment of Watch From Home Theater, breaking down the film's jaw-dropping action sequences and shedding a little light on our biggest questions about Extraction's purposefully ambiguous ending over the course of the full movie watch-along. If you missed the show, you can watch the full video commentary of the movie with Hemsworth, Hargrave, and Russo in the description below. But for now, here's what we learned from the creators of the movie about the ending, as well as some additional context for what the ending of Extraction means. Be forewarned, there are spoilers here, so if you haven't watched the movie yet, go watch it on Netflix now and come back to us when it's done. Extraction is an adrenaline-fueled sprint of a movie with a fairly straightforward premise. An emotionally scarred mercenary with the delightfully action hero name, Tyler Rake, is tasked with extracting young hostage Ovi from a hostile city in which everyone, from gangs of street kids to cops and military, are out to kill him. The plot mostly unfolds the way you'd expect it to, with a few devious detours, right up until the ending, which sees Tyler managing to get Ovi to safety before he's shot in the neck and seemingly killed by Farhad, a vengeful young criminal Tyler had earlier given a gentle beatdown. While we don't see Tyler's last breaths, it sure looks like a fatal injury, and we see Tyler fall off a bridge and into the water as Ovi is hauled to safety by Tyler's ally, Nick.
We show you at the beginning of the film that he's hit by a sniper in a potentially fatal shot. So the whole movie you're watching to see if Rake is going to survive the film or not. And that creates tension as you're watching the film, because you know where it's going.
Flash forward 8 months later, and an obviously traumatized Ovi is back at school, trying to reacclimate after everything he's been through. In the final scene of the movie, after steeling himself to take a dive in the pool, Ovi resurfaces to find someone watching him, someone who looks suspiciously like Tyler. This ambiguous ending has left many wondering. Russo admitted that the ambiguous ending was designed to allow the audience to make up their own minds about whether Tyler survived or died, but didn't rule out the possibility of a sequel.
I think, look, what we love about that ending is you can interpret it any way you want to, which is really, for us, it represents hope for the boy that he's going to have a future. You know, that is the ghost of Rake that is looking over him, and it's really what it means to him at the end of the movie, more so than what it means to the audience. And there's nothing wrong with ambiguous endings. In fact, they could be quite entertaining, and incite a lot of conversation, which I always think is, the value of a public medium like filmmaking, right? Is that, everyone can argue about it and discuss it ad nauseum, but unless there's a prequel or a sequel, the question won't be answered.
Of watching himself die on camera, Hemsworth added,
"It's a weird thing. Like Rush, when he dies at many years later, and every time that the final image of the movie comes up, it always got like emotional. But I think that because it was a real guy, not that I knew the guy, but something was sort of heartbreaking about it. I don't know. It's just sort of, it's tricky. Watching yourself in general, I find, you can be a little abrasive, But when it's done right and there's music and all those sorts of things, you kind of, it's a little easier to sort of get lost in it."
That prompted the obvious follow-up question of whether there will be an Extraction prequel or sequel, to which Russo and Hemsworth both said, "We don't know," presumably leaving the ball in Netflix's court to greenlight a follow-up of some kind if the movie proves popular enough. Hemsworth said that he liked Russo's take on the ending, joking that he'd have to check his contract to see whether Tyler lived or died.
Yeah, it's as Joe said, I love the ambiguity there and the way you could interpret it however you like. And I really like what you said there, Joe, about the sort of where that represents that the boy is going to be okay, whether that's sort of the ghost of Rake watching over him or something, but it represents kind of someone still watching him and taking care of him. And I like that version. Yeah. Whether that's actually him or not, we don't know,
Either way, Hargrave said he's down to return to the world of Extraction should Netflix order a sequel or a prequel to the film.
It's all hypothetical because, we got, there's so many ways, so many storylines in this world that Joe, built with the script. There's so many ways it could go. If anything were to happen, it's really up to, finding the best story for whoever that next. And what's the best thing for the movie and the universe that's kind of is growing out of this, again, the script that Joe wrote and kind of the movie that so I am open. I think there's so many fun possibilities. I'm ready. Just whatever the next challenge brings, I'll be there.
The plot of Extraction leaves plenty of room for a prequel exploring Tyler Rake's past before he becomes involved in Ovi's story. If Russo and Hemsworth don't want to ever definitively answer the question of who the mystery man is in Extraction's final scene, there's plenty of backstory to mine in Tyler's relationship with David Harbour's duplicitous Gaspar, given that we know Tyler once saved Gaspar's life, as well as Tyler's history with Nick, and we're sure there are plenty of other suicide missions the former SASR operative turned mercenary could have gotten involved in over the course of his career. Whether we'll get to see any of them or potentially learn how Tyler survived a seemingly fatal bullet wound is up to Netflix. For more from our Watch From Home theater, be sure to check out what we learned from Jonathan Frakes about Star Trek First Contact and that T-Rex blooper you might have missed in Jurassic Park, courtesy of Joseph Mazzello. And for everything else, keep it at IGN, wherever you like to watch.